But you can hear me, right? Yes. Okay. It's a new mic, so good. All right. Good morning, and welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Catskills. I am Kathy Atwell. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the worship associate for this morning. And our pulpit guest is Reverend Elizabeth Cunningham, a writer, an interfaith minister. She is best known for the Maeve Chronicles, a series of novels featuring a feisty Celtic Madonna. And she's recently published her debut work of nonfiction, My Life is a Prayer, a multifaith memory. She is ordained as an interfaith minister and as a counselor. She lives here in the Hudson Valley. And for more information on Elizabeth, she has a website, elizabethcunninghamwrites.com. Also in 2 weeks, she's going to be having a workshop. So if you'd like to talk to her after the service, she's going to hang around. We are delighted to have you, all of you here, and also the ones attending on Zoom. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Unitarian Universalist is a liberal religious faith that carries no creed and welcomes all seekers. We are guided by a set of principles, written sources that encompass the many ways we come to know and understand the world, the universe, and the divine. Our principles are important to us here at UU Catskills, and we live our values on a daily basis. We affirm that Black Lives Matter. We're a welcoming congregation for the LGBTQ+ community. We're an affiliate of the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network. Are you hearing? Is it because this one's on? Yeah, I think they both may be working. And we are an active voice in the effort to address climate change. We gratefully acknowledge the indigenous people on whose ancestral homeland we gather, as well as the diverse and vibrant Native communities who make their homes here today. If you'd like to contact someone at UU Catskills, please visit our website on uucatskills.org or find and like us on Facebook and Instagram. We encourage you to read our April newsletter that is distributed through our email list and is on our website for further information on upcoming events. If you are a visitor and would like to raise your hand and introduce yourself, please do. Do you want to introduce yourself? I have two over here. That's Finn. And that's Susan, who hasn't raised her hand. And Anne, thank you. Thanks for coming. Oh, yes, hello.
Hi, Marcella, and this is Sebastian.
Hi, Sebastian. Welcome. Yes.
Thank you. Christina.
Welcome, welcome. Oh, Karen. Wonderful, wonderful. If you're feeling restless or have someone with you who's getting a bit antsy, we have a room across the hall where you can relax and still hear the service. Our Zoom host this week is Kathy Kastner, and our tech host here in the sanctuary is Bruce Wilde. I have a couple of announcements. So next week, April 14th, we will not be meeting in person. As some of you may know, we've had some technical issues Zooming the Hudson Mohawk cluster of the UU congregations. So we invite you all to either go up to Schenectady or sit at home, have your cup of coffee, keep your slippers on, and watch there. There's information in the newsletter and then on the weekly update. The guest minister is Reverend Ashley Datar Britt, as the program manager for New York UU Justice and our UU State Network. This month, UIDN is collecting personal care items and detergent. Please see Paula Sibley after the service to donate to our UIDN collection. or buy items yourself and drop them off in the sanctuary hallway. If she's not here, you can make the cash donations to either Kathy Eberline or me, and we'll pass them on to Paula. So on Thursday, April 25th, we will celebrate the festival of Passover with our UU Catskill Community Seder / potluck here in the sanctuary. This family-friendly commemoration will be led by Cantor Alex Schroeder from Congressional Emmanuel here in Kingston. There's a sign-up sheet right over there that you can put your name and list what you'd like to contribute. And Catherine is coordinating that. And to briefly, all right, put on my treasurer's hat. This is my treasurer's hat. For those of you who have not submitted a pledge yet this year, please consider how much this congregation means to you all and make your pledge now. We have a sign. Lois has put a list up there of the people who have already made the pledges. If you decide for whatever reason you are not going to pledge, we need to let us know that, because otherwise we're going to keep calling and emailing. We need to know what we're working with for next year's physical budget. So if you can, pledge what you want, what you can. Every single pledge counts, and we appreciate it. So you can go online or fill out the forms and give them to me after the service. So thank you. Take my hat off. Is that like my hat? I also do the War of 1812 reenacting, so that's right. So then a big shout out to May 11th. Where's Coco? I mean, Lois?
There's really only one of us.
Right. Coco. Local. Our auction is May 11th. Lois will have sheets available for people to make donations. And this morning she said I could make a donation of a customized dog coat. So if you have a dog you want customized dog coat, that's going to be my contribution. So our social action minute, this morning's presenter is Daniela Liotta. Did I get it? Okay.
Morning, everybody. Morning. Our social action moment this week is a save the date. Please put Saturday, and yes, it's a Saturday this year, so please put Saturday, June 1st. I'm attending New Paltz Pride in Penn on your calendars. We had such an amazing turnout last year with 28 UU Catskills members attending. Our presence was very notable for how we proudly showed up in an impactful way for the LGBTQIA+ community. We want to make it even bigger, even more fun, and show our community even more of who we are as UUs, and show our support at a time when LGBTQ rights are being challenged. This election year, please commit more than ever to showing our community that we are unwavering members and allies of the LGBTQIA+ community, and join us as we have fun doing it. In addition to the number of us that turned out for Pride 2023, one of the ways our presence made such a huge impact was by our yellow t-shirts. They are bold in color and say it all. Side with love. We encourage everyone attending to wear theirs again and share your values with our community. Our community. If you need a shirt, there's going to be a link in the weekly update this week. And more information to come regarding step-off and march times and tabling needs. We're hopeful that several congregation members will be interested in helping to set up, break down, and table for a bit during the festival. If you'd like to sign up now for any of these needs, you can see me after the service, or my email is going to be in the weekly update with the t-shirt links. See you at Pride.
Thanks. Okay. So, take a deep breath. Look at your phones or your other electronics. Turn them off. And embrace our time together this morning. Our prelude, we have special prelude this morning. Mary Evans will play her dulcimer, and it's Stacked Lee, traditional St. Kilda, arranged by Carol Walker. Thank you, Mary. All right, so I invite the children if they want to come up. Maddie, you want to come up? Would you like to come up? Okay, come up. So we're going to be lighting our chalice. So Maddie, if you want, or down here, sweetie. You want to take this one? Oh, here, you take this. Can you think you can light that? The other end. Yeah, and then give it to Maddie after you light it. Please hold. Oh, good, wonderful. Blow it up. Somebody. Blow it out. Oh, good. Maddie, blow it out, hon. Blow. Don't shake the wax all over. Thank you. Okay. Ready? We light this chalice in grateful, loving community. Even in the darkest of times, may its flame light paths to courage, justice, and hope. And our unison affirmation, may we be reminded of highest aspirations and inspire to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated, but connected in wonder and joy to mystery and miracle in the universe, in this community, and in each other. So our opening words this morning, Lament by Elizabeth Cunningham, read by Elizabeth Cunningham.
Hello, everybody. I'm really glad to see you all. I'll be talking to you more and more. But these opening words, which sounded the theme today, Lament, were inspired by the Reverend Kathleen Mandeville, who in the last October, when the war in Israel and Gaza began, was looking for a way to go deeper than all the polarities. And she was invoking the tradition of lament that we find in the Psalms. And she encouraged us all to write our own lament. And she's still encouraging us all to write our own lament. She's done a workshop on it, and she is the host of the workshop that I'm giving in 2 weeks called Our Lives as Prayer. So I'm going to read the lament that she called forth from me. And it was written, I think, in the early days of the war. You whose name is known and unknown, where are you? Why have you left us here at the mercy and mercilessness of one another? You whose name we claim to know, we have forgotten. We are one. We are the other. You are with us across all closed borders. You are the one we call ally, enemy. You are the one dying in our arms. You are the one holding us in our brokenness. You whose name we cry out in every tongue, break us open, not apart. Quiet our clamor. Do not leave our hearts forsaken, heart of our hearts.
So our hymn is Amazing Grace with different words that Elizabeth, can you, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll stand back here. So those of you who know the song, can sing it well, this is a cappella this morning. Stand up and belt out. There are 4 verses. I'll put the next one. So who wants to start? I'll start. Amazing grace, how sweet the earth, the dirt between my toes. The sun pours down upon my crown. The mighty was lovely. I love those words. So this morning, the Not for Children's Only, I have a YouTube video. I was going to try to read it, and it got too complicated. It's called Big Feelings, and this morning, after the children leave, we're going to be talking about some big feelings. So this is called Big Feelings, and I found it on YouTube, so I am going to play that. And everyone can watch. You don't have to be a child to do it.
Hello to Big Feelings by Alexandra Penfold and Susan Kaufman. It's time to play. Big plans today. But sometimes things get in the way. Feeling bold. Feeling mad. Goodbye happy. Hello sad. I have big feelings. You have them too. How can I help? What can we do? Talk it out? Talk it through? I am sorry. I am too. New plans today, and that's okay. We won't let this get in the way. I feel hopeful. I feel tired. I feel frustrated. I feel inspired. I have big feelings. You have them too. How can I help? What can we do? Work together, build a crew. Begin again, start anew. I feel excited. I feel scared. I feel nervous. I feel prepared. I feel hopeless. I feel low. I want to quit. Give up and go. We all have big feelings, both me and you. How can we help? What can we do? See another point of view? This is our world. This is our home. Whatever we're feeling, we're never alone. The end. I really hope you liked the book.
So now we will sing the children out if they want to go over. And you have something this morning? You have one of the...
Yes, we're going to do the Junior Climate Action Team and the Kids Environmental Club. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about regifting, and we're going to be reading a story about composting as well.
Okay.
Yes. You like
Let's sing them out. As you leave this friendly place, love gives light to every face. May the kindness which you learn light your hearts till you return. Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we find meaning. Ours is a sharing community where our joys are amplified, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We take this time to reflect upon our joys and sorrows and acknowledge the mutual support of our community. So if you have a joy, Reverend Cunningham will start us on our meditation and contemplation time. This is a time we take for just a couple minutes to think about the joys and the sorrows we just heard, maybe send some extra love and concern out to the universe. And she's going to get us started, and then just a couple minutes, and then we'll come back and continue the service.
So this is just a little prompt, not really a guided meditation, but it's what came to me, it's what's been coming to me, is that there's a lot of tumult around us all in individual lives in the world. And so what I'm inviting you to do is imagine in whatever way you like your own quiet place, your own refuge, your own port in the storm, whatever you want to call it, the eye of the storm. And some people visualize, you might want to visualize a place that you know or imagine. Some people hear music or sound. Some people, it's just a physical, it's a feeling that they have in their whole body. So find that place, because I think we all need it. We all need to know how to get back there. At a moment's notice, it's a place that maybe you can go in the middle of a busy day or a crisis. So see what you see and feel and hear.
Hate to bring you back from your happy place, but this is a happy place too. Now is the time during our Sunday services that we remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred spaces and community. We give with the faith that together we are enough. If you wish, you can go to our website and select the half-plate donation tab or mail your check to our address. We share our Sunday morning basket collection with 7 local nonprofits. Please see our website for that list. So this morning, Mary Evans is going to play the offertory and its memories, traditional arranged by Carol Walker. Thank you, Mary. And thank you all for your generosity. Now, Reverend Cunningham will reflect on prayer in times of global or personal crisis. With the biblical Job's wild lament as a touchstone, she will invite us to consider our own way of challenging and connecting to divine mystery. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good reminder of what I was going to do.
Oh, that's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, no, seriously. Thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Elga, and thank you, Susan. All the people that conspired to get me here. I'm really glad to be here today. Christy, hi. Hi, everybody I know and everybody I don't know. And everybody I don't know that I know, you know how that goes. So that was really appropriate to be reminded because I was thinking, oh, when I put April 7th on my calendar quite a while ago, I forgot that it was the week after Easter and that we are in what is called in the Episcopal Church Eastertide. And then I thought, oh, I'm going to talk a little bit about Eastertide. And then I thought, just now I thought, well, I am with the Unitarian Universalists. And I'm an interfaith minister. I'm also a pagan priestess. But when you say to me, give a homily, I tend to get a bit scriptural. So it's interesting that we are in this time that's Eastertide, and I want to talk about lament, and I'm going to. But I'm also thinking how time is something that we need because it structures and organizes our lives, and we have past, present, and future, and we have a liturgical year in a lot of churches where the same event is acted out again yearly, and we also have seasons where spring comes again, finally is, and we all have our own trajectory of our own lives where we're born and we grow and we age and we die, and yet I think everything is also happening all at once. I think sorrow and joy are happening all at once. Crucifixion and resurrection are happening all at once. So I just want to give a nod to that. And I want to read one of my favorite poem about one of my favorite Eastertide events. Because after Jesus rose again, well, it was mostly the women who saw him and hung out for that. And then he had to hunt the men down in Galilee. And every time, he had this way of showing up when it was about time to eat. So I'm going to read just a little section of a longer poem about his life, a poem called Fishers of Fish. And when he died, his disciples went back to the boat. They didn't wait for him to rise. He had to wade out into the water to find them. Any luck yet? He hollered. No, they called back. Try casting to starboard, he shouted. And when their nets came up full, they knew him. Lord, Peter cried, and he jumped out of the boat naked. I don't know whether he finally walked on water, waded, or swam. I only know he loved that man. And there was fried fish on the beach for breakfast. So I could end the sermon there, but I am going to talk about lament. I'm also going to, talk about a memory that I have of, I listened to a lot of sermons. Actually, I tried not to listen to a lot of sermons because my father is an Episcopal priest, and I've been exposed to sermons all my life. Bishops tend to go on the longest. And what I would do instead of listen is I would count how many times I thought they had a rousing conclusion, and then they would go on to another. I think I got up to about 7 times. But my father, I don't remember most of his sermons either, but I remember the openings because he really liked to shock people. He didn't care if they were offended as long as they sat up. So one Easter, he said, "Christ is risen. So what?" And I don't remember anything he said after that. But it did remind me of something that I think I began pondering as a child and that I'm still pondering today, which is if we were saved, if we were somehow reconciled to God, which I never understood that either, or some kind of reconciliation happened, somehow good triumphed over evil and life triumphed over death, and what is going on? Like, what do we get saved from? And why are we still struggling so? And how can so much evil and cruelty still exist? How can so much injustice still exist? And I don't really have an answer to that. That's why I think that is probably why I write, because I don't know. And the word question, the word quest is the root of the word question. But I do know that I'm still wondering about that. How can children be starving? How can aid workers be killed? I don't know. When I first went, one of the first events I had with this book, somebody actually who was part of this congregation, Dave Belden, does anyone remember him? Yeah. Dave Belden. And I remember Dave Belden invited me here, and I preached on the book of Job then. It's about all I know how to do. But Dave was on a Zoom event, and he said, well, what do you mean by, he said something about, what do you mean by prayer? I mean, prayer doesn't really work, does it? And I sort of looked at Dave and I said, yeah, we're all praying for peace. And we do. We pray for peace. We pray for peace in the Episcopal Church. I know we have some Episcopalians there. We're all praying for peace. We're praying for the peace that passes understanding. And maybe it is always there, even in the midst of all the ways that it isn't. So I wanted to bring up Dave Belden and Lament. And Kathleen's work on Lament made me think about the book of Job, which any of you who have read my book know is like my favorite book in the Bible, next to the Gospel of Mark. They're kind of both up there. But I'm just going to kind of freestyle the story of Job, which doesn't begin well. It begins with God being a real, whatever word you want to use for him. He's bragging about Job, and the adversary says, oh, yeah, right, well, sure. Job blesses you, and he's virtuous, and he's upright because he's rich. He has everything he needs. He's one of the 1%. And I bet if you took some of his wealth away, and maybe his family, I can't remember the order. I think first all his holdings went, and he didn't curse God. And then his family went, and he still didn't curse God. And he was still like, okay, the Lord gives and the Lord takes away. And then he afflicted him with boils. And I think that's such a human thing, that as much sorrow and grief as we have, when it comes and lives on our body, it's like, I can't deal with it. So he's sitting in the ash pit, and he doesn't curse. He complains. Which is another, which I think we say, oh, don't complain. But I'd like to say that he really to me, his complaint is a lament. And his lament, his challenge to God is a prayer. Because he's going to just tell the Almighty like it is. And he's going to say, number one, I'm innocent. I'm upright, I'm innocent, and what are you doing? And then he does go on to say, wait, what about the widows and orphans? He might have said, what about the refugees? What about the people starving here and there? What about all that? He does call God to account for that too. And then he has friends, and they're called comforters. And I think we all have the temptation when we see someone suffering, when we see someone saying, this doesn't make any sense. I don't deserve this. How can this be? We want to make sense of it. So one of his comforters said, well, you probably did something really bad. And, this is the consequence, because that makes sense. And Job says, nope, absolutely not. And then somebody says, it could have been a lot worse. You did something so bad. God's actually being merciful to you. You're just lost everything and you're sitting in the ash pit, but it could be a lot worse. And then somebody says, well, there's a lesson. You just need to learn what the lesson is. This is actually a blessing. And, think positive thoughts and try to see the good and all that sort of thing, which is okay when you're in a certain frame of mind, but when you're in the ash pit, it's not okay. And Job says, it is so not okay. And I am really like, why did I even get born? And he's raging and mourning, and yet he's saying, I know someday I'm going to be justified. I'm going to see my Redeemer. What I'm saying is true. And so that's how Job maintains. He's just not going to back down. And then I don't even know if I can write about a little cartoon that I drew about what God says. I don't know about 4 little words here. But anyway, as we all know, God answers him from the whirlwind, and he says, who are you, to Job? And then he proceeds to say, well, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? And I think that for some odd reason, even though I hate that God who makes these backroom deals, and I don't really like God the Father very much, I love that part of the book of Job because it's poetry. He says things like, out of whose womb came the ice and the hoary frost of heaven? Who hath gendered it? The waters are hid as with a stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. Canst thou bind the sweet influence of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Hast thou given the horse strength? Hast thou clothed his neck with thunder? And I think the effect that poem maybe had on Job, and it certainly has on me, is that suddenly I'm still in my ash pit. Everything I said is still true, but I'm part of this huge, vast mystery that I can't begin to comprehend. And somehow for me, there is a kind of mercy and relief in that. On a small level, I think I have it any time I walk outside the door and I'm like, oh, where am I? And tomorrow we're going to have an eclipse. We had an earthquake. And tomorrow we're going to see, we're like on this little tiny planet with this little tiny moon, and we're going to have a big shadow come over us. And it's not that makes anything all right. It just is for me, it's a salutary jolt. And it's also interesting that although God does not answer any of Job's accusations or complaints or questions, he says he has spoken truly. He says that to the comforters. God says to the comforters, Job has spoken truly, unlike y'all. So I love that book because it's like Job lets loose. And he's not doing a polite prayer. He's not trying to figure out why he deserves what is happening to him. He is just saying, WTF. And I think that's really powerful in anyone's life, in any time. And yeah. So I'm also a counselor. And many times, I mean, most of the time, or often, at least once with everyone, there is some time when someone really is in the ash pit and everything is going, whoa. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yeah. Anyway. And I'll often say, you can scream at God. You can rage at God, whatever you think God is. You don't have to believe in God. You can let loose. And often people will say, no, I can't. That would be bad. I can't do that. But it's really actually better to let loose at God than at your coworker or your child or your dog. God can take it, and maybe God deserves it, whatever God is, and I have no idea. Mm-hmm. So, and I've done that a time or two in my life. And the first time I really let loose, and I was screaming, I was throwing a tantrum, and I didn't do that very much as a kid because I thought it was much more effective to go into my room and be quiet and make my mother feel guilty. So that was my usual go-to. But one day I just let loose at God, and I went on. I don't know how long it was. And then at the end, it occurred to me that maybe I should be quiet for a minute and listen. And I'm really happy to say that I didn't get answered with a whirlwind, because it doesn't always have to be a whirlwind. The answer that came to me then was, I know how it is. I know how it is. That there was fellow feeling from whoever and whatever God is. And that just stayed with me. Still with me. Still touches me. So I would encourage anyone who's in the ash pit to say and scream and do whatever they need to do. And I'm going to close this little homily with a prayer that I don't know whether I wrote it before or after that, but I'm thinking that I'm glad I chose this prayer because it really goes with that story that we heard about big feelings. So, in one of those times of the ash pit, I wrote this, and it's called Heart Prayer. You can only pray what's in your heart. So, if your heart is being ripped from your chest, pray the tearing. If your heart is full of bitterness, pray it to the last dreg. If your heart is a river gone wild, pray the torrent. Or a lava flow scorching the mountain, pray the fire. Pray the scream in your heart, the fanning bellows. Pray the rage, the murder, and the mourning. Pray your heart into the great quiet hands that can hold it, like the small bird it is.
Thanks, Elizabeth. We're going to see if the final hymn is not affected by the piece that fell off the back of the TV.
Now I feel really terrible.
So, if you want to stand. The words will be at the bottom. Hopefully you can see it. This was from, this is a UUA choir, and it's really lovely.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We nations, we're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations, we're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God, our mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one.
You have the closing words? So, that's so much fun. I had to listen to about 10 times to get it on the thing right. So I loved it every time. Our closing words, Heart After the Lord's Prayer, written by Elizabeth and read by Elizabeth. Oh, sorry, Reverend Cunningham.
That's Elizabeth will do. And thank you for listening to all these words that are mostly mine. I think I'm going to sing this, then speak it. O broken heart, here in this broken world, your truth be told, your healing be one with the healing of this earth that is our heaven. In you we have everything we need. We forgive ourselves and everyone else. In your daring we are safe, for you are our strength and our grace and our home. Now and beyond time, now and beyond time. O broken heart, here in this broken world, your truth be told, your healing be one with the healing of this earth that is our heaven. In you, we have everything we need. We forgive ourselves and everyone else. In your daring, we are safe, for you are our strength and our grace and our home, now and beyond time. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy the eclipse.
Yeah. So we will extinguish the chalice with these words. We extinguish the chalice, but not the light of faith, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And our benediction, from you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Go in peace. Don't be afraid when it gets dark tomorrow. The sun will come out again.